to the Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with the show with the news, views, reviews, and interviews, and wishingly I'll do it in that order this time. Well, the news today, there's no news is good news. There's no real news in Star Wars at the moment. Last couple of days we've had, that extra photo that I showed you in the last, I think, video, which is more of a happy snap than an actual, promotional type photo, I assume, the way it's pictured. But that's pretty much at the moment. That's all the news that is come to light. So no news is good news, especially when it comes to the making of the two productions at the moment. One in an editing process, which is The Mandalorian and Grogu, and the other one, which is still shooting for a bit of a chunk left to go, about I think a third or a quarter of the film of Starfighter, and that's all I can give you at the moment. So anyway, let's get into views. Views is my story idea on anything in Star Wars. I accept the story for what it is. Like, I really accept how Star Wars has come to us the way it is. Now, whether I love it or hate it is another thing. Generally, even the stuff that I don't like, I still like it, because you know what? It's an official timeline. It's how the story is. We all could change it. We all could appraise it, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, in the way to speak. But anyway, here is a story idea. Now, this story idea is something I actually spoke to a head writer 10 years ago. His name was Pablo Hidalgo. I was at Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. I just saw him in the foyer and I said, oh my goodness. I've even got video footage of him just doing a little bit of a comedy skit on like an episode many moons ago. Pablo Hidalgo at that time was a very favorable personality within the writing team of Star Wars, especially being on Twitter at that time, it was known as, and just sort of being interactive with a lot of promotional stuff via Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is he was doing. He's since then had a bit of dislike out there. But anyway, I said to him, I tell you what, going back to the prequels, I would have loved to have seen, this is my story idea that actually was a story idea put out there, but it was rejected by George Lucas, not by me. No, I didn't put it out there to him. He was contemplating it. It's actually I think it's in the Revenge of the Sith, some sort of Revenge of the Sith book, with historical facts or whatever. And I said to him, it would have been great to have Emperor Palpatine, be actually Anakin Skywalker's dad. It would have been about the tale of the dads from, episodes 1 to episode 6 at that time. It would have been great. It would have just, sort of made a lot of sense in where Anakin come from. I understand that it's a biblical sort of ideal where Anakin Skywalker was born from nothing, from the Force, let's say. But I just think it needs a bit more tangibility, I think. I think having sense to it, like having Emperor Palpatine being so strong with the Force, and then Anakin sort of getting that sort of thing and sort of, a connection to the dark side. It would have just been a great story idea. Now, I think the way episode 1 to episode 6 worked out, it's good. It's a real tight story. The first 3 episodes and then the last 3 episodes of that particular really look and feel a bit different, but they do connect quite well. Anyway, so that was my story idea way back. I had that story idea, I think, since Revenge of the Sith came out, which was, well, even Attack of the Clones, I'd say that was 2002. And in 2017, I think it was the Orlando Star Wars Celebration, I got to speak to Pablo Hidalgo, a main story writer. It's not the only story writer I bumped into. There was, another one, but and he was at another Star Wars Celebration. That's a story for another time. But anyway, that's my story idea for views. Let's get into reviews. Now, this particular item, it's yet another different type of item we've got. This, I was traveling to... I'm Australian with a Maltese connection. Where's Malta? Malta is under Italy. It's a little speck of an island. It's a very underrated island by a lot of tourists coming from Australia or even America. People sort of miss it. It's such a great island. It's definitely a destination for a lot of Europeans. Germany to England. It's so small. It's so busy right now. Like it just gets during the summer months, which Malta has a lot of summer there anyway. It's only for a small time of the year, which is January, December. It gets really cold, and it does get cold, not snow cold, but cold. But anyway, I was in a shopping center, just shopping, getting some food and whatever, and I came across this collector's Empire magazine. This was a cinema magazine, not about the Empire and Star Wars. It was a cinema magazine that I used to collect. I got a number of them, but this one, if you look really close, it's got even the European price tag on there. This is a 3D version of Kylo Ren Empire magazine. It's actually, I could not believe my chance in passing this. I snapped that up really quick, thought, oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite magazines that I've got, simply because of the 3D cover. It was just amazing. It was way back for The Force Awakens. This gets definitely a 10 out of 10. So that's Empire magazine, European advertising there in the back. So it's from Europe, from Malta. Couldn't believe it. Look at that. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's now get into interviews. Now, interviews can be anyone out there who want to give me any comments, questions. I'm not Mr. Know-it-all. Like, I don't know a lot of things about Star Wars. I do know a fair bit. My passion for Star Wars is strong. But anyway, just to let you know, I'm not this, explanatory YouTube channel about Star Wars. I'm just giving you my side of things as a Star Wars fan. Anyway, let's get into interviews. Interviews this time will be going into the comment section. And today we have, can you believe it, Michael from Werribee South. It's a part of Melbourne. It's on the west side, Werribee South. Got to go over the bridge for that one. But let's see what he's got today. So what happened to Anakin's Force Ghost to sit out the sequels? That is really a creative decision. That is a creative decision on the multiple directors. It was Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams did episode 7 and episode 9. Rian Johnson did episode 8. And it was really a creative decision. They could have used it. There was one moment where they were going to use not just his Force Ghost, but a collective of Jedi Force Ghosts in Rise of Skywalker, where Rey is at the absolute end of end, and she looks up in the sky, the stars, and she hears all these voices inspire her to get up and stuff like that. That actual scene, that was more towards the end of the film, was going to be filled with visual Force ghosts, but it never happened. Why? Maybe financial reasons, maybe creative decisions, I don't know, but that would have been a great inclusion in that part, but probably a bit expensive as well, funding everyone to be in that part of the film. But I remember the anticipation then, especially for Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin Skywalker. The first time we'd seen him since Revenge of the Sith, since the whole dislike that he had, and then rebirth of a love for that actor and the way he played it. He got a huge round of applause at Star Wars Orlando. I was there. It was a very moving moment, very good. But anyway, that's what happened to the Anakin's Force Ghost to set out the sequels. A creative decision. So the next question by Michael from Werribee South is, now this is an area I'm not really passionate about, is legends. I'm not really into legends. I find legends good, but just not official. Like I have read a number of fun-loving, interesting stories, especially when they had backstories of characters that was on the internet of StarWars.com. There was some really interesting sort of story timelines and that. But legends is referred to more with the books, the novels, even just animation, stuff like that. Mainly with books and novels, and I'm not really into the legends. I like official, I like episodic films, and everything else on the side is side. It's not to me 100%, but anyway, it's fine. It's still good. It's great to cherry pick, things that are in legends and put them in movies. I think that's a good idea. That could be controversial to some people, but anyway, in legends, what was Palpatine's dad's first name? His dad's first name. Now, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this one. I'm actually going to search this up because I have no idea. So let's look it up. What was Palpatine's dad's first name? Let's have a look at that. What does it come up with? Well, doing a Google search, Palpatine's first name was Kosinga. He was wealthy and politically ambitious from Naboo. Yeah. So that's, it's Kosinga. What a name. Never knew that, but anyway. But to give you an extension of that question from Michael from Werribee South is Palpatine's first name, because Palpatine is his surname, was Sheev, and it was the same name in Legends too. In canon, in the movies, and Legends, which is two separate areas. Canon is referred to official timeline of Star Wars, which can be movies, can be books, can be comics, can be sometimes products. But yeah, his name was Sheev, and his dad's name was Kosinga, if that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, so the next question from Michael from Werribee South was, what series of events led to Rael Urvros killing his Padawan? Well, Rael Urvros killing his Padawan, what series of events led to Rael Urvros killing his Padawan? This is another thing that I'm going to put into, there's copy, and then I'm going to go into, here. No, not here. I'm going to go into opening up a page, putting that question there, paste, see what happens. Rael Urvros killed his Padawan, Nina Piana. So I'd say after mutiny on a cargo ship led to her being hit by a slicer dart that caused her to lose control of her actions and attack him. So Rael Urvros, I think that's how you pronounce it, killed his Padawan Nim Piana after a mutiny on a cargo ship led to her being hit by a slicer dart that caused her to lose control of her actions and attack him. Can you believe it? That's what happened. So that's to answer the question. So let's get into the next question for Michael from Werribee South. What was the Ran ecliptic? Well, it was just before the Battle of Yavin, which is referred to as a timeline area of 0. The battle before Battle of Yavin, which is BYY, I think they call it. That's the sort of the zero date of referring in a timeline sometimes. And Rand Ecliptic was an Imperial starship coming in just before the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin happened in the original Star Wars A New Hope, which was at the end of the film where the Death Star was chasing the Rebel base, and they got to that point. Anyway, so the next question, what was the name of the first clone trooper to die during the mission to rescue Even Peel from Citadel? Well, there's no name. It's an unknown trooper. Unknown trooper to that question. The next question, what is the unit number when Luke tells 3PO to open pressure in the hatch of the trash compactor, which happened in episode 4 in New Hope? And yeah, so the actual number, I've got this displayed. It's quite a long number. It usually uses his his company THX. I think it's 1137. He uses that number a lot, that code, but that was his movie. He had a movie called THX 1137. George Lucas did before Star Wars, and he uses that number a lot. But this time it was 326 3827. And the way that Luke Skywalker says it in such a panic rush was actually really well remembered for quite a confusing little set of numbers. In that moment of scene in Star Wars A New Hope, episode 4, the trash compactor, which was on the Death Star. At that time, they're trying to escape the Death Star to get out of the clutches of the Empire. And yeah, so the unit number, Luke says, is 326 3827. So the next question from Michael from Werribee South was, what? Now this is funny. This is the way he has questioned this is going to lead to an answer you won't expect. What does Han almost become the king of, and eventually stops him actually becoming one? What does Han almost become the king of, and what eventually stops him from actually becoming one? This is another Legends question that I would have to look up because I don't know all of Legends, but I did look it up, and the answer that I got was Prince Han almost become king of Adrenadel. The king of Adrenadel. What is King of Adrenadel? Well, it was in the movie Frozen. Yeah, Disney's movie called Frozen. The way that Michael has written that question, it says Han, and that is Han. Prince Han's almost become the king of Adrenadel. To answer, Michael, specifically from Werribee South, he almost became the king of King Adrenadel, and that was in the film Frozen. Anyway, it's not a Star Wars answer, but that's how the question was questioned to me. Anyway, so let's get into more of these questions. I think it's the last one. What planet in Star Wars Galaxy is the farthest from Coruscant that we know of at this stage? Well, it's Mortis. Mortis is the farthest planet at this stage. It could increase, The Star Wars story will continue, and it's probably going to be something that is going to be the unknown of the unknown regions. Anyway, I don't know. That's a guess. Anyway, that is my show for today. Please subscribe to the channel, The Force Always. Like the episode. Send in your comments, questions preferably. Again, send them straight to my YouTube channel. I'm not really big on the other Instagrams, Twitters. I did have accounts with them, but I just haven't rehashed them properly. Have not used them for many moons in a Star Wars way of answering it. So please, I'm here a number of times per week. I'll give you the news, views, reviews, and interviews. Subscribe, press the notification bell while it's added when you're subscribing, it will help you know that I've put up a episode. You can watch it ASAP. And anyway, until the next time, my friends, keep rocking.